Hi, Eileen. I'm so sorry about that. I I sent the link to Pandora's box notices, but for some reason it didn't appear. I've sent it again now, so hopefully some more will join us. Great news. Pleased about that. Do you like my bit of beading? Thanks, Joan. Hi. I think that my message didn't go through the first time to Pandora's box notices. Eileen said she found it on Facebook. Why it went there, I've no idea. Hi, Anne. Anne Devine's just joined us. Anne is my niece. You've heard me speak about her before, so you've all got to behave while she's here. Thanks, Eileen. I appreciate that. Yes, Joan. It's how it goes, especially the first time. It's um, it's incredibly difficult. And I've got two screens open here now. One with my Minicam and one with the chat. And I'm just hoping against hope that this chat will save with it this time. When I did a trial run earlier, it didn't save, but that's almost a detail. We won't have many people come today because I can't I can't notify people who've kept themselves private. I'm just hoping that they'll see the message to join Pandora's box notices, and then they should be able to get it. It's all too much for a tiny bear of tiny brain like this one. Thank you, Eileen. Paddington, I've had him for ages. Is he is he clear um, to you and in focus? That's good. Thanks, Anne. I've got a Eileen. I've got a whole collection of bears. I'm an idiot with them. The lighting is just coming directly from my window, which I've drawn the slatted lines across, and I hope the lighting is good enough. Hi. Hi, Debbie. Good to see you. Um, uh, um, 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 uh, I'm not quite sure what you mean, Debbie. I have now posted the note. Eileen's posted it again to Facebook, and I've also posted the link into Pandora's notices. But of course, only those people who let me see them will get notified, I think. But I don't know what I can do about it because when people are private, even I don't see them. Oh, I see. Is that because your screen's too small, Debbie? Right, so you're okay now, I hope. I think you promised to tweet one or two people, didn't you? I can't remember who it was now. I'm speaking to Debbie now. Oh, right, thanks, Eileen. Um, I don't know where Jean is. I think Jean might have gone back to sleep again. She's the Facebook group, so she should see it. Um, oh, right, okay. Um, I I didn't want to tweet the link because I didn't. Maybe I'm being silly. I mm, I didn't want a whole load of outsiders popping in, but as I've left it this way, it shouldn't happen, should it? I'll sort it out for next time, Eileen. I'm still learning a lot, as you can tell. Can you see behind me the lamp, and then on my screen to its left, there's a picture standing on the sideboard. It's one my niece Moira made. And on the other side here is one I painted, and it's got a koala bear here walking up the side. I wonder where Carol is. She was. I don't know how she's going to find it. Yes, I have. It is unlisted. Okay. All right. It is unlisted. So you could share the link on Facebook then in that case. I'm in private. Oh heck. I don't know what I've done there then. I'm pretty sure I changed it to unlisted. Okay. Does anybody have Carol's email or Facebook or something that you could let her know we're live? Yes, I know she wanted to come and she's probably lost somewhere. Oh, thank you very much, Eileen. That's good. Maybe they'll show up shortly then. Do you think we should get started and people are creeping in now. It's all my fault for not putting for my original message not going through properly. Kathy and Debbie, Anne is my niece, in case you didn't hear me say it before. She's the one who makes my little local computer design group that I hold here every month work. If I couldn't do it without Anne. I think I showed her how to start using the program, and now she does far better than I do. Oh, I see you've just subscribed to my channel, Kathy. It's just come up on the screen. I think we better start. For Anne's benefit, would you like to say where you're from? So she can get an idea of where everybody lives. I know Joan's in Lincolnshire, and Anne is about 2.5 miles away from me in Leicestershire. Kathy, whereabouts in the States are you? Oh, And Debbie's in Texas. Oh, yes. Where are you, Eileen? I've forgotten. I should know that perfectly well, and I don't. Oh, yes. Yes. I think that's everybody now. I think I'll get started. And I think I'll get started, and anybody that comes in later can watch the rest, hopefully on the recording. Not London, England, do you mean, Kathy? Oh gosh, I used to live in London. Now where I live is about approximately 90 miles from London. All right. So where you'll be in London if you move? All right. Well, Southampton, Eileen's not far from Maggie Gray. You ought to come over and see them, and then you can take a class with her. You said you liked her work. All right. Well, if you live there, you'll be very close to Sophia. I don't think Sophia knows we're streaming. I don't think she knows we're streaming yet. I really must. If she joins, she's one of the ones that join privately. Ah, hello, Piccola. Helen, I should say. I now know what your name is. Ah, Carol. Helen, where do you live in the States? We're just exchanging places. All right. Okay. And who else? Carol, whereabouts in the States are you? Oh, that's right. Yes, San Antonio. I was just explaining that Anne is my niece and she lives just a short distance from me here. Neither of us are all that far from Helen. We must try and fix a meet sometime. And perhaps when she gets back from Maryland would be good. Right, I think I'm going to get started because not too sure how many more people are likely to come. Now, I did make myself a list so that I could. Several of you asked me to show you when I went to my other niece's exhibition recently. you asked me to show you some of the work, and I couldn't take pictures at the time, so I bought some cards so that you'd be able to see them. This is a watercolour of Moira's. Where's my thing? That one's done in watercolour, and she's had it made into a card. This is another of hers, which is a mixed media one. Sorry for those that don't know, the screen does everything backwards for me. Hopefully you're seeing it the right way around. I like this one. She calls this one "Oh dear." and I've got one more, but it's not Moira's. It's one of the other girls that was exhibiting with her, and this is an actual watercolor. A cone, I like those. Echinacea, I think is the name. Yes, and there was only one of these, and Anne very kindly let me have it. So that's that bit done. Now, I showed you, those of you who were at the test screen. Yes, you did, Anne. Those of you who were at the trial screen saw a flick through of oh, where did I put that? Lost it. Oh, it's fine. It's right here. One of the traveling books. Now this is the. I'm going to see if I can get the colours a bit better. This is black. Does it look black to you, or is it washed out? Okay, let me see if I can get it a bit darker. That's better, I think. Okay. Now this one is all about trees, and what she's done is loads of illustrations in the beginning, illustrating. There's a poem at the beginning which you won't be able to read, lots of illustrations of the sort of things that she loves about trees. The leaves and the bark. This is an oak leaf. And the bark in particular seems to excite her. Well, it does me too. That it's so beautiful. So these were all examples of the sort of things that she liked, to give people an idea of what she was hoping they would be able to produce for her. Hi, Janet. Good to see you. I'm glad you found us. These are cones and half-eaten bits of fruit from the trees. And there's quite a few examples. And so these particularly, she liked these gnarled old pieces. Now, you see this one in particular. Let's see if I can get the colour of this a bit better. Can't. This is a piece of work that was done for that one of the people chose to do based on that picture. This is blueberry dyed background fabric with fabric paints. Then it was layered with Luchador and Tyvek and some expander print, which puffs up when you heat it. And then she stitched it. Quite a lot of hand-stitched French knots and hand stitching up here. I think there's some machine stitch also. Okay. Is it still blue? That's better. This is a piece by the lady I mentioned the other day, who used to come to my computer group, and she was called Fran Habershaw, and she died a few weeks ago. So it's lovely to see some of her work. And how she achieved this was to take a piece of calico, I think you call it muslin, and she cut a hole in the center of it and then stitched across the hole, machine stitched across the hole to make this tree. She cut it out and put it on, sorry, it's not muslin at all, it's heat soluble fabric. And she had her tree, which she could then collage onto the top of her painted background. Isn't that lovely? Let's see if I can get to a bit closer to it, because it's really lovely. Yeah, they do look a bit African, those colours. And then this is the last one in this book, because this round has only just started. this reference piece, a muted photo printed out, and this is how she's, by taking it through different stages, this is what she's achieved. Various layers of, various layers of fabric. Machine and hand stitching. It does look a bit like a butterfly wing, but it isn't. It's the bark of a fallen, aging Japanese acer. That's what it is. So that's that set. And the next one I'll show you afterwards is all about, she wants fruit and vegetables. So put this away for the moment. So what I did was take a wooden block of a branch various of leaves, and we apply the fabric paint. We use these Pebeo Cedar colours, the opaque ones. These happen to be black and white for something else I'm going to do in a minute. And we use a decorator's roller to apply the paint to it. That way you don't get any going down into these little cracks. And these rollers, don't use a craft roller because they wear out very quickly. These tops only cost about 80p, and you can actually pull them off and change them. So you can have a different colour going for all of your work. There's other things you can do with the blocks. You can, where is it? You can impress leaves into these heat moldable foam blocks. And what you do with this, you can put it on both sides. On the other side is a geranium leaf, which is a much softer texture. You heat this with a heat gun until you'll see the surface change slightly. And then you just take your block and press it hard into it. You can actually, if you don't like your impression, you can heat it again and it'll disappear. But the blocks are not very expensive, but you could also use these sides, the narrow ones. So you've actually got 6 sides on these. When you use those blocks, that's the sort of print you get from them. This is on paper in my sketchbook, but you can do it on fabric, and then you could stitch through it. When I've got my when I finish doing my printing, I then roll out the rest of the paint from the roller onto pages in my sketchbook, and then I've got various pages then to use for collage or as backgrounds. Got a really messy one here. And this was one. I've also got some roller graphs. and I ran the roller graph out onto this one. You can use the wooden blocks on paper, on fabric, on almost anything. If you can, if you use it on something like Cardi paper, which is 100% rag paper, you can stitch through it. But you can also stitch through many of the different sorts of paper and apply those. Those of you who do collage will know that. I did. I went to a workshop. I did these a long time ago, but I also went to a workshop with Hilary Beattie, who's well-known English. I'll go and write the name down. Mr. Wood, I forget this. Well-known UK textile person. And I did quite a lot of these on. I'll take this away for the moment. This is a paper, just a final paper sample of various papers that I have stenciled and stamped and put wood black blocks on. And then, and here are some. And then dye over the top with Procyon dye. Now, here's one using an allium seed head block, and then it's over dyed with a brown colour. But if you look at the back, it's often as interesting or more so than the front is. Here's another one. It started out as green, the leaves, but then we put the Procyon dye over the top, which is thin like an ink. But if you're going to use it in fabric work, you need the dyes, and that's what the back of that one looks like. You can use them both together in the same collage. I'll just show you one more. Which you can see of this one. This is a stencil with leaves. Again, the back is quite different from the front. So when I'd made this mock-up, I then did the same thing, used the same papers and applied it to a piece of felt, white felt. and this is going to then be stitched. Haven't got that far yet. Now the next book I told you was about fruit and vegetables. I'll get it my foot stuck over the tripod now. And I have this block, this strawberry block. And what I'm going to try to do with that one is do it in a light grey, very light grey, so it should look like graphite. And then I shall stitch the colours on the top. I'll attempt to show you how I do it. Whether I'll be successful, I don't know. I haven't got the right colour out now. Silly girl. That's the one. I have to give it a really good hard shake to make sure it's all mixed. And then oh drat, I didn't want that much. Oh well, that's a waste. I'm going to mix that black with a lot of white and see if I can get a really nice light grey. It's Pebeo Cedar Colour Opaque. And I don't know, this board that I'm working on is a just a piece of very thick cardboard with on this side 2 layers of old blanket on top of it, and it's all I'll take this off and you can see the messy surface underneath. It's got some give in it for stamping on. So now I'm going to stamp this on a piece of paper first of all. Actually, nothing. All right, I let it dry too much. That's sort of what I wanted. It's probably still too dark. And this is on what we call cartridge paper. Let me see if I can get it lighter. And I'll do one on a piece of fabric. This fabric is very closely woven, 100% cotton. We get it from in remnants from Empress Mills in the UK. Well, we're getting there. Can you see that? And then what we then do is take a big fat brush, big floppy fat brush, dip it in our Procyan dye solution, which is acting just like an ink. Now, because this is an art piece, not going to be washed, you don't need to pre-treat the fabric with soda ash. You just need to let it sink in for quite a while and then rinse it off and iron it to heat set it. But it's this big floppy brush, just paint over the top with it. And going back to the original one that you saw, that's the final result. Can you see that? Of the leaves. And now that's that. When it's mounted on a piece of, well, I use Dermet, which is, you may not know, it's curtain interlining. It's quite thick, but it's very easy to stitch through. And I mount this onto the Dermet and put it into my embroidery frame, and I shall hand stitch because that's what I like doing. Okay. Now, I haven't got that far with either of these, but you'll have to excuse me for a minute while I go and put this tray into some water in the kitchen. I'll be back in a second. I don't want it to dry on the tray. It's not that easy for me to get up either. Okay, I'm back. And these are some that I did some time ago. And this was just done with acrylic paint with a wood block over the, well, these are tiny little wood blocks, and I lined them up in that pattern. And then that's another circular one, which has been stitched and beaded. you see that? And here are another couple of examples. This one is done in a different way, in that I printed out I stamped the block. Then Eileen will kill me for this. I used Inktense crayons to put the colour in the centre of the petals. And then I stitched all around the edges. Okay, so that's the sort of effect we'll get when I get as far as stitching these, which incidentally have to be done and handed in on Thursday. Thanks, Joan. I like the eek from Eileen. Eileen does not like Inktense, or affects not to. I'm not quite sure which it is. Okay, now one of my the people whose work I really love to follow is another UK artist who called Helen Hallows, and she does that's her workbench. She does hands. What's her there? She uses rubber stamps that she makes herself, or anything to make a mark like that one. And these are pretty typical of her sort of mark making. That's a nice one. And she's got machine stitching on. This is all paper and it's machine stitched afterwards. You can do it if you're careful. You probably need a fairly long stitch so that you're not in danger of making perforations that are going to tear. I love her work. So this is a winter one, a winter version that I like. Where's the one I spent? That's the one I especially like. And I have actually done one for one of the other books based on that. I made my own little printing block. Hang on, let me see if I can bring you in a bit. So, yes, Carol, Inktense and pink. It's not Eileen's day, is it really? Yeah, I think you'd like her work, Eileen. Seriously. I don't know whether I might be able to put my hands on my little rubber stamps that I made. They really are quite tiny. Hang on. It's a bit of an obstacle course here. Various things around on the floor. I'm working in about a foot square of space on the bench. This sort of occasion where I wished I didn't have difficulty walking. Hold on. That's the size of the rubber block. That's the end of a pencil. This one I did just using a biro on a piece of foam, child's foam. Just drew on it. That's another one. I can't find the actual rubber stamps. I thought they were in here, but they're not. So you'll have to do without seeing those. Sorry. These are some that I've made little alphabets. Again, out of foam, and it's on that foam core board to give it some stability. So I don't think I had anything else to show you. Does anyone have any other questions? Do the books get? Yes, they do, Debbie. They we exchange them once a month at our Stitchers meeting. I used to belong to the UK Guild, and we broke away from them because we got an awful lot of interference and really not a lot else for our money. So we set up today's meeting, which happens to be at a little local village hall near here, very convenient. And there is one this Saturday actually. So, and where we go along there and we take whatever we want to stitch on, and a packed lunch. And one of the ladies always makes a lovely cake, and really have a very pleasant day. So Oh, I thought I'm wearing a necklace that I made. I'll take it off and hopefully see if I can show you. It's got all. What it is 8 different chords. Kumihimo braiding. Sorry, I've got it out of view again. Kumihimo braids, which I made on a Maradai, and they're all the same colours. Oh, leaning on the pesky mouse. All the same colours, but different arrangements on the Maradai. And then I've interspersed some of them with beads, and these alabaster beads in between. And then all the chords come together, and this is a paper ball in the centre, and I've done a lattice, some lattice beadwork around it. So I thought Eileen might like that because she likes beading. So I think we'd better wind it up there, and I'll next time I'm thinking of doing something with lettering. Hopefully Janet will be able to stay a bit longer for that one and have some input because she's good at that. And I'll let you know when it's going to be. I'll announce the day in the Pandora's box notices, and in between times I'll see if I can get and any of you could help me get more people to sign up into that. I was hoping to get quite a lot of fibs, and I got a few friends from another Facebook group, which is a private one, mostly stitchers and mixed media artists, but they don't spend very much time actually on the computer. So whether they'll sign up, I don't know. I think they'll see the videos. They'll sign up and they'll see the videos, but they may not take part. We have to find out how the time and days suits everybody as well. Yes, Debbie, I need an email distribution list, but I can only do that for the people that let me see them. You see, that the private ones are private to me as well. But it would be useful if I could actually see them and do them in a separate list privately. If they don't want to show themselves, it's a shame, really. I understand the reasons, and especially people like Janet who have had a bad experience with trolls. I can fully understand why. Okay, well that's it for now, and I'll see you. I don't know if it'll be next week or not, but we'll talk about it. Oh right, that's a good idea, Debbie. I'll do that. Yes, yes, I'll do that. Thank you very much. Okay. Yes, I'll let Anne know when the rest of you are streaming, and if she's free, she may be able to join in. So, bye for now, everybody. Thank you for coming. If anybody wants to see the video, they take about 3 hours or so to process before they show up online. So it's no good looking before then. Okay, bye for now.